Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As Norristown Area School District Television Network presents Suburban 1 Football Conference battle tonight between the Eagles of Norristown and the mighty undefeated Quakertown team. I'm with my broadcast partner, Joe Highland.
Good evening.
And welcome to Roosevelt Stadium on a brisk, which promises to be even a colder night as the evening progresses, Joe. And we come into this evening's game with two teams on opposite sides of the scale, so to speak. Norristown struggling with a 1-4 record. On the other hand, Quakertown, one of the powerhouses in District 1, comes in with a record of 4-0, coming off a bye week. They were supposed to play Hatboro Horsham last week. However, due to the teacher strike there, that game was postponed until a later date. Joe, you interviewed at length, I believe, did your homework on the Quakertown team. What do we have to look for tonight?
Well, first of all, good evening, everybody. And as Coach McGee said, it is a cool, crisp October evening. It's a perfect night for high school Friday night football.
No question.
I think, Tom, that this is a must game for the Eagles, not a must-win game, because that implies that the Eagles have a chance at postseason play. Quite frankly, everybody, they do not. They are going nowhere in the postseason. This is not a must-win game for the Eagles, but it is a must-compete game for the Eagles. They must be competitive tonight. They must give their very best effort, because if they do not, this Quakertown team will take them apart. Led by quarterback Chris Donnelly and Dave Fisher, an explosive tailback, Quakertown comes into the game 5-0, Tom. The Hatboro Horsham game was forfeited to them. They are leading the Suburban 1 Liberty Division. They come into the game well rested by reason of that bye due to the teacher strike over at Hatboro Horsham. Now, earlier in the year, Quakertown clobbered Cheltenham, and Cheltenham last Thursday clobbered Norristown. So if that's any indication of the athletic disparity, Norristown could be in for a long night. There is another factor at work this week, and I think it deserves mentioning. The Eagles, in this observer's opinion, are being manhandled by their opponents. There was a time, and I'm sure Coach McGee would agree with me, there was a time when it would have been absolutely unthinkable for Norristown to lose to Wissahickon, to be out-muscled by the Trojans. But that is precisely what happened 2 weeks ago. On their last drive, Wissahickon literally drove the football down Norristown's throat. It just seemed to me that Wissahickon had more gas in its tank in the fourth quarter than did Norristown. As Coach McGee will tell you, losses wear down a team spirit. However, blowout losses destroy a team spirit, and I think that's what's happening. The Eagles are losing ugly. That's why it's important tonight for the Eagles to step up, to be competitive, and go after the Panthers and let them know that Norristown is a football team and not a stationary target. To draw an analogy from history, the Eagles tonight are like the 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae, and in about 2 hours we'll know how that battle came out. So for Coach McGee, this is Joe Highland. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening kickoff right after this brief break. Thank you.
Great night for high school football. The captains now are at center field. Number 30, the solo captain for the Eagles of Norristown, that's Ben Lafredo. Multiple captains for the Quakertown team.
Yes, indeed. Jeremy Walk, number 75, who was the center. Number 34, Tom Givett, who was a fullback linebacker. Number 32, the tailback David Fisher. And number 74, that would be Jad Burley, a defensive tackle.
Okay, the coin is being tossed right now. It appears that Quakertown, or Norristown, has won the toss. They've elected to receive. Quakertown will be defending the east goal post, Joe. There does not seem to be much of a wind advantage one way or the other tonight.
No, and that that will be a factor because Quakertown comes into this game with a balanced attack, passing and running. Their running game is spearheaded by David Fisher, and they have an excellent passing combination with quarterback Chris Donnelly and wide receiver Ryan Walder and Nate Cox.
Now, Joe, I think it's important. Norristown has probably not gone ahead early in the game all season. Playing a powerful Quakertown team like they are this evening, it would be a great boost to their confidence if they could put together, if not a kickoff return here, but a good, solid drive and put some points on the board in the first period.
Couldn't agree more, Tom. The Quakertown kicker will be number 14, Danny Solt. He'll be kicking off, of course, from his own 40-yard line.
And I think that's Dave Johnson deep for Norristown, along with number 4, Rondell Hartman. Take it away, Joe.
Picked up around the 20-yard line. Eagles will start with good field position at about the 37-yard line.
That was a good controlled run back by number 4, Rondell Hartman. He saw me in school today, and he claims that I'm shortchanging him on his height. He's listed at 5'10". Joe, I'm not quite 5'10", and he's 3 inches shorter than me. I tried to point that out to him today.
All right, here come the Eagles. Greg Bird over center.
It's like a shotgun.
Into the shotgun.
I think right away, illegal shift, Joe.
Yep. Not an auspicious start.
No, and you know, there's really no excuse for that, Joe, because obviously it's a scripted play that you practice, and you're coming out and you know you're going to go shotgun, and you could go over that repetitiously at practice. So they're shooting themselves in the foot early.
All right, the tailback is Benny Lafredo. Bird over the ball. Here's a handoff to Lafredo.
No, keeper.
Keeper around the left end. Bird gains about 5 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. Nice run by the young man, by the junior.
Joe, conspicuous with his not being in the lineup, Norristown's leading rusher, Rob Coleman. I haven't heard that of any injury. I don't see a number 2 in street clothes down there.
I don't see number 2 on the sideline. Darmon Pierce, the fullback, in the shotgun. Bird around the right side. Picks up about 2 yards off tackle.
Interesting thinking. Coach E.J. Smith, realizing that Greg Bird is his best athlete, probably wants to utilize his skills early on. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 8, and this is almost a certain passing situation here, Joe.
Yep, you want to look for Kenny Witter. That last tackle was made by number 50, Brad Belenius. The outside linebacker also doubles as the Panthers' place kicker. Again, they're in the shotgun.
Witter wide right, Joe.
Single coverage on Witter.
Starting wide open.
Yep. Nice pass.
Greg Bird set his feet extremely well that time. They confused the secondary of Quakertown by curling in Bird on the stop pattern.
Yeah, Witter ran a very nice pattern, an out pattern about 8 yards. Nice throw right between the numbers. Norristown picks up a first down. Ball is at the Quakertown 44-yard line.
And I believe they're the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken. Right, Joe?
That is correct. That's why I keep confusing them with Cheltenham.
Yeah, you did that prior to the game.
Here's a Bird on a quarterback keeper.
Straight up the middle. That wasn't even a draw. He just put his head down and ran.
Picked up about 3 yards down to the 41-yard line.
Not much secret to what Norristown wants to do early on in the first period, Joe.
Correct. That's correct.
And if Rob Coleman is injured and out of the lineup, this makes a lot of sense.
Number 34 calling the defensive signals for the Panthers is Tom Givett. Bird in the shotgun.
Fumble, Joe.
Fumble. Lafredo dropped the ball. The Eagles shoot themselves in the feet.
The proverbial foot.
Inside.
And they're going to have good field position here, Joe.
Inside handoff. I don't think there was a very clean exchange on that. Lafredo was hit. Ball coughed up the football.
Right, Joe. The spacing was very poor there.
All right, here come the Quakertown Panthers. 5-0. They go right into a formation. Number 11 is Chris Donnelly, the quarterback. Here's a handoff to Dave Fisher. Nice defensive stop by number 55 for the Eagles, Eric Benjamin.
On that stop, along with a couple of Patriots.
Single set, Joe, here.
Here's Donnelly. Fisher in motion. Donnelly back to pass.
Empty backfield there. Good pursuit by the young Eagles.
Absolutely. They leaked at least 3 guys through, and they threw Donnelly for a loss of about 8 yards. Nice defensive play by the Eagles.
Give number 30, Ben Lafredo, a lot of credit there, Joe. He was instrumental in making that sack and coming off the bad fumble he just made earlier. He's looking to bounce back quickly, which is a good sign.
All right, here's Dave Fisher, tailback. There's a handoff to Fisher up the middle, scoots around the right end, and is brought down on a nice shoestring tackle.
Norristown holds the first possession, Joe. They're going to get the ball back, and they should get decent field position.
And as we mentioned in the pregame, Tom, Quakertown comes in with a high-powered offense, so that was a good defensive stand by the Eagles.
No one, Joe, and I mean no one gives Norristown any chance to win this football game. If you saw today's Times Herald, all the prognosticators picked the Panthers, and rightfully so.
Oh.
And maybe it's because of mistakes like that.
Quakertown recovers on a muffed punt. Davy Johnson muffed the punt. Quakertown was lickety-split on it, and they have great field position at or about the Eagles' 18-yard line.
Yeah, the last 2 touches by Norristown, Joe, resulted in fumbles, and you can't give a quality opponent those opportunities, especially back-to-back. You're asking too much of this Eagles defense now as they're backed against their end zone.
All right, the ball is at the Eagle 15-yard line. Here's Donnelly over the ball. Dave Fisher, the lone setback. You're in a double wing.
Nice tackle, stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Eric Benjamin. Eric Benjamin, Joe, shed off his blocker and made a hit. I think he lost the yard on that 2nd and 11.
Nice play by the Eagles. Number 34, Tom Givet, is the lone setback. Fisher's on the flank.
And Givet gets the ball to about 12, Joe.
Okay. Inside handoff to Givet.
Joe, a very big 3rd down play for both teams here. This is very manageable for the Eagles defense to stop. A 3rd and 8 situation.
Eagles have to watch for Brendan Schimpf, number 39, the tight end, but they don't go that way. They run it. Fisher slashes in for a touchdown off left tackle, David Fisher.
Joe, whoever the right end was for Norristown, then he did not contain. He angled in, and it was an easy read for the running back to go around him.
All right, it's 6-0 with 6:41 left to play, and Quakertown made it look frighteningly easy. All right, Brad Belenius will try the extra point. Number 50, he's the linebacker. Good snap, nice placement. He banged it through.
Yeah, he barely got it over there, Joe, but we're now about halfway through the first period. 6:41 remaining to score. Quakertown Panthers 7, Norristown 0, and the 2 fumbles. You can't overcome those mistakes when you fumble the ball and give the ball right back to your opponent. And that's a matter of execution. It's a matter of concentration.
Yep.
And you've got to catch punts. I don't know what it is today, Joe, not just at the high school level, but you see so many muffed and fumbled punts.
And I believe Coleman was waving for a fair catch.
Was that Coleman? Was that number 2? I didn't notice the
No,
number.
it wasn't Coleman. I'm sorry. It was Davy Johnson, number 3. All right, back is Bruce Minnick and Rondell Hartman. And number 3, Davy Johnson. Number 14 for the Panthers is Dan Solt. He hit a low liner the last time. See what he does now. Kicking off from his own 40. Same kind of a kick, a skimmer.
That's Hartman again.
Here's Hartman.
And
Nice
once again,
run.
good field position, Joe.
Yep, out to the 42-yard line comes Rondell Hartman.
And I see number 2, Rob Coleman, in the lineup. Must have been a reason Coach Smith did not start him.
Still in the shotgun. Greg Bird. Coleman to his right. Here's a sprint up the middle. Greg Bird gets a tough 4 yards, bounced off a couple of tacklers.
He's a strong kid. He shook my hand today. He'll shake your hand, Joe. It's like a vice. He's such a strong young man.
Panthers play a 4-4-3 defense. 4 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and 3 defensive backs. Coleman and Bird in the backfield. Coleman rolls to the left and is dragged. Oh, avoids number 89 and throws the ball away.
Yeah, he was fortunate he didn't get sacked there. His athletic ability allowed him to spin out of that arm tackle.
That was Doug Kyle in on the blitz.
But Joe, after he broke that arm tackle, he had a lot of time. He should have looked downfield, and he looked to throw it away right away. That's just lack of experience, I guess.
All right, the ball on the Eagle 46-yard line. Still in the shotgun. Bird rolls to the left, looks for his receiver, overthrows number 7, that's Bruce Minnick.
45, Darmon Pierce made an outstanding pass coverage block there to allow Bird to escape the pocket, and the receiver was open. He just overthrew him.
All right, it's 4th and 7. Eagles will have to punt back to receive for Quakertown is number 5, Nate Cox, who also doubles as a wide receiver and is Donnelly's primary target.
He's only 28 yards from the line of scrimmage. He's up pretty short. Maybe that's why.
All right. Picked up by Cox, pushed out of bounds at around the 42-yard line.
Call that the 37, Joe.
I'm sorry, 37-yard line. That's correct. All right, Quakertown has the ball. Good field position. Five and a half minutes left to play in the first quarter. Quakertown 7, the Eagles 0. Dave Fisher in motion, inside handoff to Give it. Give it bangs ahead for about 8 yards.
Nothing fancy about that, just a straight inside handoff. Picked up 6 or 7 on there. This is the drive I think will judge the Eagles' defense. You can't really judge that last when they had a short field, Joe, at the 15.
2nd and 4. Give picked up 6.
Quarterback
There's
sneak.
a quarterback sneak. He swoops outside, avoids one tackle, and is knocked down at around the 45-yard line of the Eagles.
Joe, he showed great strength there to keep his feet.
Chris Donnelly's a big boy, Tom. He's 6'4", 195.
That's good size for a high school quarterback.
Picked up a first down. It's 1st and 10. There's a handoff to Dave Fisher.
Another good pickup, Joe, over the left side of that Norristown defensive line.
The Quakertown offensive line is big and experienced. Brad Belenius, Dustin Seifert, Mike Devlin, and Caleb Rupp are starting to punch big holes into the Norristown defensive front.
How's that pretzel, Joe?
Pretzel's delicious, Tom. There's a swing pass out to Fisher. That might be a lateral, but it's not. All right. Pass defended by number 32, Tony Bright.
And
It'll be
Steve Sullivan also in on that.
It'll be
20.
Be 3rd and 5. At 72, Caleb Rupp's a big boy. All right, here's Donnelly, the coach's son. 2 men in.
Just went with the power. It's going to be close, Joe.
Very close. Dove for the flag. I don't think he got it, but we'll see.
But Joe, anyways,
They did.
yeah, he moved. I was going to say that would have been 4 down territory there anyway.
Yeah. I understand, Tom, that Ryan Davis, the defensive end for the Panthers, is the grandson of the legendary Concrete Charlie, Chuck Bednarik.
Is that right? I wonder if Concrete's over there in the bleachers watching his grandson. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
That is
Pride and joy of Liberty High School.
That's right. And the University of Pennsylvania.
When they were big time.
That's correct.
And he played 60 minutes.
Yep. Probably made probably the most famous tackle in Eagles history.
Jim Taylor, he sat on him at the 5-yard line, would not let him up, Joe. 1960. I heard that on radio because the TV coverage was blacked out. If you weren't one of the 60,000 that had a ticket to that game, you could not watch it in the Philadelphia area.
All right, 3rd and 9. Nate Cox split wide to the left. He's looking for Cox. Throws the ball away.
Yeah, he threw that one away. He was being rushed pretty hard.
Three good defensive plays by the Eagles, Tom.
Yeah, I said that was a drive where the defense was going to be tested, and they did an admirable job forcing a 4th down situation here.
It's 4th and 9. Number 1, the punter is Ryan Walter, who's also a defensive halfback. He'll pooch punt into the end zone.
Got a little too far that time.
A little bit too far. The Eagles will take over on their 20-yard line. 3 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Quakertown with a 7-point lead.
I'd like to see Norristown open it up a little bit here. Joe, they have nothing to lose.
Right.
They're prohibitive underdogs. They're playing at home. They have an outstanding wideout in Kenny Witter, but it just seems that the Great Birds struggled all year passing the football.
Yep. Here's an inside handoff to Coleman. Bowls over a couple of tacklers, is knocked down finally by Ryan Davis. We just spoke of Ryan Davis. Good genes there, Tom.
Absolutely. Number 5-yard gain there, Joe.
Interesting that he's wearing the same number, too, number 60.
Why wouldn't he?
Mr. Davis is 6'4", 230.
What year is he in, Joe?
He is only a junior. Here's Bird, looks for a receiver, and he's wrapped up. Oh, knocked down.
Yeah, that's
could have been a late hit.
It was close. It was close. But where's the protection there? And Greg's got to see when he's got to throw that ball away there, Joe.
Yep. That was Ryan Davis
Right.
again.
A beautiful 5-yard gain on first down, and he gives 7 of it right back.
It's 3rd and 12. Kenny Witter split wide to the left. To Coleman, little swing pass.
Like a screen pass, Joe.
Yep. Knocked down.
Good call by Coach Smith.
Good call. First down for Norristown. Nice play by number 2, Robbie Coleman. Well-conceived play, Tom.
Yeah, they must have seen something in the Quakertown defense.
I think they might have taken advantage of the aggressiveness of Davis.
The rush, absolutely. And they did pass away from his side there.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Nice play. Robbie Coleman.
Little option pitch there, Joe.
To the short side of the field, Coleman picked up maybe a yard on the pitch.
See if Norristown could sustain it and retain possession, Joe.
2nd and 9. It'd be nice to see. String together a couple of first downs. Here's Coleman in motion. Number 45.
Darmon Pierce.
Big boy, 6'2", 240. He's the person who usually clears the way for the scat backs, but they gave him the ball.
Only a sophomore, Joe.
Yep. Big boy. You run him 15, 20 times a game, you're going to wear that defense out.
If the line could block them.
Exactly. Bird rolls to his left, looks for Witter. Again, misses his receiver, Bruce Minnick.
Joe, that left rollout, I haven't seen that completed. This is only my 3rd game. But I haven't seen that pass completed by Bird. And he's short or he's over. He's not even on the mark.
Yeah. All right, Norristown's going to have to give up the ball.
Yeah, and you've got to go with your bread and butter there. A play that has not been successful all season. Do you run it in a critical spot there?
Absolutely not. Number 3, Davy Johnson, back in punt formation. Nate Cox to receive. High snap. Almost blocked. In fact, it might have been tipped. Gets a good Norristown roll. It'll roll dead around the Quakertown 32.5-yard line.
Joe, I didn't see the Wissahickon game. Did their punt game did their punt game suffer in that game as well? Because it seems like every punt is a near block.
Yep. Yeah. There's a miscommunication or a misconnection between the long snapper and Johnson, and he's had more than one narrow escape, Tom. More than one. All right, here's Quakertown. 27 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Fisher in motion. Handoff to Givett. Nice play by the interior of the Norristown defensive line. Number 81 on the stop was David Hopkins.
Now, Joe, it looks to me, comparing Quakertown to Methacton, I thought Methacton looked better than this team right now. I mean, it's only in the first period now, but they look like they're vulnerable tonight, and Norristown's not taking opportunities to cash in early.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's the end of the first quarter. The score is Quakertown 7, Norristown 0. Could be worse, Tom. It could be a lot worse considering those two turnovers, those two costly turnovers.
Yeah, they were very costly. Norristown, the first turnover was driving. They had a 2nd and 4, and they were successful with Bird keeping the ball. The first handoff, fumble, and then of course the ensuing punt. They held Quakertown. The ensuing punt, they muffed the punt, fumbled, gave the ball right back to Quakertown on the 15-yard line. So this game at worst should be 0-0.
No, absolutely. Eagles are doing what I said they had to do in the pregame. That is be competitive.